Hello YouTube, and welcome back to another one of my videos here. Another one of my vacuum cleaners, and this is the first one I've done since summer 2014, when I was rather bigger than I look now. Since then I've been working out and losing weight and dieting, and from what I used to weigh, which was just over 20 stone, I'm now down to under 12 stone. And I can assure you, I am exactly the same person that did the original videos of the collection. But for this one, I'm going to do another one with the Dyson range, which I did originally, but I think it wasn't very good, so I deleted it. So we're going to talk about this one again. It's the Dyson DC15. And this particular model now is just coming up to being 10 years old. Yeah, 10 years. I bought this, I think it was about 2005, shortly after they came out, or possibly might have been early 2006. So it's well over 9 years old now. It was the very first ever Dyson to include the ball, and when it was launched it was called the ball. At the same time, they produced the DC14, which was the wheeled version of this. I mean, this has got wheels, but they retract when you tip it back. And this has formed the basis of just about every upright Dyson ever since. And indeed, they still use the ball, although it's not quite technically a ball as we speak now, so the DC41 and the big ball. But nevertheless, they don't make wheel versions anymore, which I think is rather a shame. So, what did we get with this then? It was, as I say, an improvement on the DC14 in that you could manoeuvre it around a lot easier, having the ball. But one of the big drawbacks was it was a fair bit heavier than the DC14. And when you pick this up, a lot of housewives found out when they picked it up that it was big and it was bulky. And it was one of the biggest criticisms of this, is its weight and its bulk. It weighed about 9.5 kilos. It's a very, very heavy machine in terms of the modern Dysons now, which are a lot lighter than this, but it was a fair bit more sturdy than the more modern ones. So, in the usual style, of the way I used to do it before, I'll take a brief look at it from the top down. There's the top of the wand here, nice big handle, nice and easy. It didn't flex as much when you moved it around, but like the modern ones now, when you manoeuvre them from side to side, I find that this part here is very flexible. It always feels like it's going to break. But this one, you could flex it slightly, but it felt more sturdy. So we've got the cable on the back, and on this one, we've got 10 metres, so it's a nice long cable on here. Here's this one winds. Like so. Then we had on the back here, you've got the hose and the wand, standard with these. Lift it out like so, press the release button, the wand comes up, and then you can slide your hose down and remove it like so. And then, I believe, I don't know whether you could on these ones or not. No, it wouldn't. So what we had to do with these is to leave it clipped in like that. That's right. There's that many Dysons, I could never remember how this one works, so I haven't used it for quite some time. That's it. Yeah, you use this handle here, retract the wand out there, and then your hose stays in the end. So you haven't got, like with the DC07s, take it off and put it round the other way around. And that was your hose and wand. Nice long hose. As I say, you could do quite a significant distance with that. Up to the ceiling, up the stairs. Okay, that's the hose, and that will just clip back in like so. Squeeze those together. Retract it, and being careful as well, you do so, not to kink the hose, like I've just done. How do we do this? There we go. Now we can get it down. So on the back here we've got one of the tools, two of the tools, and the third one, which is like a bent crevice tool there, which I always thought was rather strange the way they did that. And that fitted nicely, clipped onto the side. The standard Dyson dusting brush and the standard crevice tool, mattress tool, there we go, or a stair tool would go on top of the bin. And that was pretty much exactly the same when you took the bin off as what it was on the DC14. It was bottom drop bin, so you could press your release button and it would fall open. You empty it all out, and you get your Dysons, your Cyclones inside here, your fine dust in the central collection chamber, and your fluff in the outer collection chamber. In the top, what we'd do, we would clip this, and there is your filter, just the same as in the DC14 and the DC04. The filter was in the top, and you'd have to wash this out maybe once every 6 months, depends on how you used it. So that was the filter, and inside we can see the individual cyclones there. And on this machine they very rarely got blocks. It was actually very efficient at cycling the dust out and keeping the filter relatively clean. As you can see there, it's clean because I kept the machine clean, and as I say, I don't use this one. This is it's kept upstairs because I think those were quite rare in the years to come. There weren't many of these sold when they came out. They weren't all that popular. Underneath the bin we've got a HEPA filter there. On later machines, such as the DC41, the HEPA filter was actually built into the side of the ball, made it more compact and got rid of all the bulk around here, around this part. But on this one, the air would come out of the motor, come through this chute, through here, and out through that filter. And that was removable. You'd have to have a screwdriver just to prise the top off, and there would be a pleated paper HEPA filter just underneath here to give it really good filtration. And they said it was lifetime, but like I say, when the machine got to this sort of age, if you were still using it, chances are you'd have to have replaced it, and they wouldn't be cheap. So that's the bin, the tools on the top of the bin, standard emptying from the bottom. On the more modern ones, what we found is that the dust would come in through the bottom, it would go up that tube there. And I think what would happen is when you emptied it, some of the dust from inside would get sucked up there and go in and dirtying the filter quicker. So I always preferred this design over that later one. Now, what they would have is a switch over valve at the bottom here, and that would determine whether you were in hose mode or whether you were in cleaning head mode. And as you tilt the cleaner back, this would change round to decide between these two valves. Very, very similar setup to what it was on the earlier ones, on the 14 and the 7 and the DC04. They all use this kind of diverter valve. Underneath we have the floor head here, which has a very nice brush roll here with short stiff bristles on. In fact, they're very short bristles. And what was also quite different about this one was that you could take the end pieces off, the end caps, and just like on the SIBO X series, you could slide out the brush roll for easy cleaning. I'm not going to do it on here because I'm trying to get these videos in about 20-25 minutes now. Before, I used to ramble on for 25 minutes, half an hour, up to anything up to an hour. It's too long, so they're going to leave it shorter when I do it in the future. But yes, and that brush roll, we've got a metal sole plate on there, which is quite unusual for a Dyson because mainly it needs to be plastic, the cheapness. You get little wheels underneath here, but when I saw that really good quality metal sole plate, I thought that's really good. Your belt is inside here, and it's linked up to a separate brush roll motor, which the majority of later Dysons all used, so that you could control the brush roll separately from having the main motor on, so you could use it on hard floors or on carpets. And I always thought that was rather a good idea, having the twin motor. So, what else can we talk about? Obviously you've seen that many videos now on the DC15. There's not much that I can say that hasn't already been said by, you know, I think Roger's done one on the DC15, there's been various other people that have done them. So the retract mechanism on this one, you put your foot on the back of here, on the little latch, press down, and then drop it back, like so. The wheels would come back, and then you'd be on the ball, and you could manoeuvre it. I mean, despite being such a big, bulky machine, it would manoeuvre surprisingly easy. And that was its biggest selling point. And they've never looked back really, always been balls since. And so there we go. And then to put it back, you push it straight forward, the wheels will pop down, and then stand up again. Simple as that. And you can just use that to pull it round. I've used this machine since it was brand new. I haven't bought this one second hand. And I used it solidly for quite a few years before I started the rest of the collection. Then it went up in the spare room in the back, and then it went up in the loft for a while. Not being used, but in all the time I had it, it never caused me a problem. Initially, when I first bought one, there was a problem with the switch on here, in that when you tipped it back, the motor was always running on the floor head. And when you stood it up again, the motor would carry on running because something went wrong with a little micro switch in the bottom of here. Dyson had to come out and replace it for me. But then, since then, it's been alright. You've got a switch on the top there, which controls the brush roll manually. So when you tipped it back, you'll be able to turn it off with that. So if we plug it in, and I'll give it a push round on the floor, how are we doing for time? 13 minutes. So just plug it in. And as Dysons go, it wasn't as noisy, anywhere near as noisy as the DC07. I'm not quite sure what type of motor they used in the ball there, but it's quite a nice motor. Okay, here we go then. just having a look there to see if I could use one of my 32mm turbo tools in the end of it, but unfortunately it wouldn't fit in that cuff. So, and it didn't come with a turbo brush either. So there we go. That was the DC15 in action there. Yes, to all intents and purposes, it was quite an improvement on pushing it round than the DC14. So, we just wind the cable up here, and that will be done quite quickly. But I haven't got any more modern Dysons than this now. As I said on videos that I did back in 2014, I was never really very happy with the build quality of Dysons that are more modern than this. The DC41, I just don't consider them to be worth over £400, and big ball, like I say as well. It looks impressive, but at the end of the day I think it's just too bulky for what people, you can't get them under furniture and that with the ball in the size it is. But I will always keep this one because it was the very first ever Dyson ball, and like I said, they were nowhere near as popular as the DC14, so we've got loads of DC14s that were sold, but very, very few of these. Right, well, that was it from me and the DC15. I shall have no doubt that I'll see you on the next one. I might get my Siemens Z6 down next, which is something I've never actually used. I've had it for a few years now, up in the cupboard in its box. It was out before the Bosch GL5, I believe it was. It looks like the GL5, but it's the Siemens version, and it's 2.5 kilowatts, 2,500 watts. This one, let's just have a quick look at the power rating on this if I can find it. I'm not quite sure where the ratings label is on this machine. But I can't think where the rating label was on it. It might be behind the bin. Yes, it's here. Let's have a look. What looks to me like 1050 watts. Yeah, that's strange. I thought they were more powerful than that. Made in Malaysia. Well, where do we expect it to be made? 1050 watts. So in terms of today's energy ratings, that would be, I would have said, a grade C. I would have said for energy efficiency, that would. So right back in 2006 when this was made, it wasn't actually all that powerful. And you're taking the power of the brush roll motion to that as well, so the suction motor would have been even less. Probably about 1000 watts. But there we go. That's it for me and the Dyson. I'll see you again on the next one.